You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
I just want to come in here for a second because there's something that really bothers me about sports and football, microcosm it down to football more specifically, because in football circles it seems like the thing to do is to let go of assistants and coordinators as to blame them for what's going on. And sometimes it is that is the issue. Sometimes these head coaches get new coordinators, usually after the season, and it works out for them. But firing coordinators in the middle of the year, like it's been happening this year, first with Seth Luttrell and now with Jordan Lindsay, if you can't wait till the end of the year, all that reeks of to me is scapegoating. And scapegoating is the most cowardly move, in my opinion. That's some of the most cowardice bullshit that you can do. And West Virginia and Wren Baker and Neil Brown just let go of Jordan Lindsay, the defense coordinator. Now, granted, Jordan Lindsay's defenses haven't been that great this year, but that can probably be attributed to an injury-riddled secondary. But nobody wants to take that into account. Same thing with Seth Luttrell. While Seth Luttrell may not have been the answer, we'll never really know because he didn't even get a full season in. Seth Luttrell was let go, and Oklahoma has had 5 or 6 injuries at one position, wide receiver, and numerous offensive linemen injured. But that's the offensive coordinator and defense coordinator's fault? Really? How is it that people cannot take into account for extenuating circumstances these days? Just about like I said about Wren Baker and West Virginia specifically. West Virginia fans, I really have shown a lot of respect to West Virginia fans over the years, but here lately, they've shown themselves to be really wishy-washy and just bandwagoneering the whole damn thing. I watched a game this year where West Virginia's season was still pretty much in the mix for bowl consideration and still is in mix for bowl consideration. And yet they had a lot of empty seats at Mountaineer Field. And they claim to be this big-time passionate fan base that supports their team no matter what, burns couches and all that good stuff in the name of victory. I know they don't do that anymore because it's not politically correct. And their state's more of a liberal state these days. So they can't burn couches anymore. Which, that's stupid, by the way. That's another thing that they acquiesce to that they shouldn't have. And I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this video, but I'm getting to the point now where I just don't care whether I piss people off or not. You want to subscribe to me for having an opinion, then by all means do it. You're the one that wasted your own time by subscribing to the channel. You're going to go through all that process. You obviously like my channel, or you wouldn't have subscribed to it, but one time I have a disagreement or I have an opinion of a different view, then all of a sudden they want to unsubscribe and they go through all the trouble doing that. But that's another topic for another day. Back to West Virginia. This is a university that has the 15th highest winning percentage all time in college football. They have the highest winning percentage of any major college football program without a national championship in college football, as well as college basketball. I'm not sure about their winning percentage in college basketball, but they're a pretty good program in that too. Been to the Final Four a few times, I think. But now they whine all the time about how they're not going to get in the big league when the SEC and the Big Ten decide to take the ball and go home, which I'm not a big fan of that. But if they do and West Virginia gets left out, they can only blame themselves for being the highest winning percentage mid-card program of all time. They've made themselves a mid-card by their lack of support. Ever since the Don Nehlen years, there's been a lack of support at West Virginia. They're wishy-washy fans. Their athletic director and their administration's wishy-washy, and they wonder why they can't get over the hump. They wonder why they don't get a Willy Wonka golden ticket. They wonder why Missouri was picked over them back in the day when the SEC expanded. It's because of the inconsistency and the fact that your program is mid-card because your fan support and your administration support is mid-card. Oh, and one more thing before I get up out of here. This is why West Virginia has always had an inferiority complex when it comes to programs like Pitt and Penn State, and Ohio State, and Notre Dame, and teams like that surround their state. Most specifically, Pittsburgh is supposed to be their main rival, the one that they have the inferiority complex with, because Pittsburgh's a big city. West Virginia is a very rural state. So they've always had an inferiority complex when it comes to Pitt. But you will always be owned by programs like Pitt, West Virginia, because of how you present yourself and how you continue to be wishy-washy, and how your fans and your administration don't support your university in the way you should, in my opinion. Just saying. You didn't show up for the games that you should have showed up for, man. And I get these excuses from people like my boy Kuz about, well, that's just them showing the administration that they're fed up. So you bail on your team. You bail on your team just because you don't like a certain head coach. And now you're going to scapegoat the defense coordinator, and suddenly everything is all right now. That's why Pittsburgh will always own West Virginia. And they say, no, they don't really own us. Yes, they do. They got like a 21-game lead on y'all. I would consider that being owned. And that's all I got to say about that. There's a little $1 million sign down here with a little heart around it. If you want to smash that and throw a few dollars in the coffers and help keep the lights on, even if I did piss you off today by giving you the hardcore truth, hit that. Throw a few dollars in the coffers. Also, there's the Outlaw Posse membership. It's $2.99 a month, 75 cents a week, just a half a bottle of water for the Outlaw. You'll get your badge. You'll get deputized. You'll get a random Four Horsemen shout-out, as well as possibly be the comment of the day. KMCA to all the other teams. Class is now officially dismissed.